All right, everyone. Welcome to this new segment here. We're going to be doing some interviews occasionally. And today I have a very good friend of mine here, Isaac Rodriquez, who's a fellow Sidereal astrologer, but also an astronomer, looks at the actual stars in the sky. So a lot of you do know my personal take on Sidereal, so I thought it'd be great to get his take on the whole thing. And Isaac, welcome to the channel. It's great to have you on. And yeah, maybe we can start by you telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe how you found Sidereal and kind of what you do.
Okay, sure, thanks for having me on. So I started out as an astronomer, observing the stars, and also doing astrophotography. So I acquired some, I needed to use some precise equipment to be able to photograph deep space objects like galaxies and nebulas. And at some point I realized that when I was observing the planets that they were in different constellations than what tropical astrology was forecasting. So then
you were already looking at astrology while you were doing the astronomy?
Yeah, like most of my life, I've been into the occult mystery teachings and just been a spiritual seeker. So I knew, the foundation, the base of astrology. And I got kind of confused when I realized it wasn't connected with astronomy. So that's what happened. I was observing and it was off.
So what was that? What was the experience there with, what were the planets you were looking at?
Oh, okay, yeah. So things were a little interesting in life, a little tougher. And I looked in the sky with my telescope and I saw Mars, Saturn, and Antares. And, so Mars and Saturn was in Scorpio.
Which is a challenging part of the sky there.
Yeah, very challenging part of the sky. Yeah, it's, and, Antares, through all the ancient books that you read, Antares is like the red star, the heart of Scorpio. And here you have Mars and Saturn doing their dance, trining, and doing all this stuff. And I'm looking and I'm going, this is not good. This is probably why I'm in trouble. So when I turned to tropical to say, okay, what does all this mean? It wasn't there. They were not forecasting the planets as being there. So I got really confused. And that's what led me to true sidereal astrology.
So what did you do? Did you type in like conjunctions with Antares, or how did you figure out that there was a difference between what they were telling you in the Western world and what was actually in the sky?
Well, I did these like kind of free charts you do on those websites. I don't know if we should mention websites. I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but
yeah, that's fine. Should be fine.
Yeah. The free charts for and nothing was there. It wasn't showing up. I forget what sign it was in, but it was not in Scorpio. And I was clearly looking at Scorpio because I had my astronomy program pointing in Scorpio. So, yeah, and then this is over time. It's not like one day. So then you get all these like full moon forecasts that tell you all the stuff with the full moon. It's like, oh, great. Look at the full moon. No, man, it's not there. I mean, sometimes I would see beautiful full moon conjunctions, like full moon conjunct Pleiades. I mean, that's a beautiful story right there. But then they were reading off full moon in Gemini. So go out and do some drumming. But if we really observe the sky and you see the full moon in Pleiades, you go, oh my God, like commune with like some, galactic wisdom. So that's just misinformation. Yeah. So,
but how did you find the word sidereal? Because I think that seems to be something that, isn't like the word sidereal is like never used. So if you're noticing it's different, how do you know, right? Like, do you remember what that was? Did you type in Gemini and then something came up? Or?
Yeah, no, sidereal. Because sidereal with astronomy, that's a normal time for us. So when you're punching in your stuff, you're in sidereal time. So I knew sidereal.
Oh, you did know. Okay.
Yeah, you move in sidereal time. You're always working in sidereal time.
Right.
So then my friends told me, go to Vedic, search Vedic, and so I searched the Vedic and I realized that Vedic uses still an even 30 degrees. So no.
It was still off. Right.
It's still off. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Exactly. Still off when I'm observing. At some points, all right, but yeah, I mean, it's still off. I mean, like for example, Virgo, 44 degrees. Vedic still has it at 30, so it's off. So yeah, so then I led Sidereal astrology, accurate astrology, true astrology, and then you came up, and then since I'm like a skeptical, astronomer, astrologer, I kind of put you through the ringer a little bit, and had you, I worked with you for a bit and made sure your stuff, your reckoning was matching mine. Your system matched what was really in the sky, and it worked. So then I decided to study with you.
Oh, awesome. Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that's how you actually chose me, because we did a course together for those watching. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, I was like, wait a second, I'm checking this, and and I was checking everything.
During the course. Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. Well, that's cool, man. So, so you're obviously still doing astronomy, and you're getting more into the astrology side of it, right? The sidereal side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's it's working wonders, because it's like a fresh look that's true, and I'm able to show people, comparing it with my astronomy program. And showing them exactly, and
like literally showing them with telescopes. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, literally showing them and saying, "Look, guys, here's the moon." Yeah. So it's been refreshing, and it's also been interesting because people don't want to hear it. Like, they run away from me. So I have friends that think they're Aries, and I chase them around and call them Pisces. Yeah. So there's a little bit of that happening.
Well, that's cool. That's really cool. So let's talk a little bit about the mystery teachings, right? So you're into the I don't know if you want to call it the occult, but hidden knowledge and hidden information. But you're very scientific, so you do both, right? And so you've always been looking at this, like the astronomy, the scientific side of it, but then also incorporating it with the mystery teachings. Is that right? Yeah,
because so how it started while I was stargazing, I started getting into the ancient fireside stories, and one in particular was the story of Venus in the Sumerian. I love the Sumerian story of Venus, where she's called Inanna, and she's the goddess of love and war. And her orbit time actually it correlates to the time of gestation. She's in the underworld for 9 months before she gets reborn again. And the story of Inanna is she goes into the underworld, and she gets stripped of all of her human possessions, and she faces death, and then she comes back up. So they say, and when Venus is an evening star, lots of babies are being made, and then the 9 months gestation period, the baby is in the womb, and then the morning star, it's born again. So it's like an army. It's beautiful. So then when I realized, okay, wow, there's science in these ancient stories, they got me getting into, okay, how does this really work? And realizing that it made me realize through all the studies that science is actually hidden through oral tradition, and that led me to one in particular, is the Dogon tribe of West Africa and their relationship with Sirius, and in Sirius B in particular, they had the orbit. They knew everything about the orbit, the size, the weight of the star before there was even telescopes to observe the star. So then they even had I'll find the book in a minute, but they even had the dance of Sirius A and Sirius B, the binary system. It looks like DNA. They had that years before science actually observed it and came up with the same image.
Wow.
And that's
so they actually had like scientific, or let's just say like practical knowledge about the Sirius that is actually later confirmed by science, right?
Exactly. And it's a tribe that's like out of touch with anything of the real world. They still live in.
How did they know that? Do you have your theories? Yeah. Our spiritual. Right?
Well, their creation stories say that we've been seeded from the stars by the new moon, and we've been, planted here. This is just another way. This is how life works in the universe. We're planted on third dimension planets, or whatever dimension planets, and we live this life. We're just seeding the universe. So it's like pretty far out. But they have these stories, and
they match.
And they match.
Science, yeah.
Science. I'm going to show you an image here. I think I have a bookmark.
And that's what's happening, right? We have this merge. As time goes on, science is linking up with the traditional spirituality. We didn't see that because I was talking.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. The one on the left is a tribal drawing, and the one on the right is a scientific observational drawing. They're the same, right? And this was done before.
But everyone saw it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's crazy. That's like literally the same drawing. So where did they get the first one? So was that from like tablets?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it's tablets. I know from my reading of this book, they have this festival every 60 years, which marks the orbit of the two stars. I think it's called the Sigi Festival or something like that. And they either know it or paint it on the sand. I think right, because all oral. But sometimes I saw a few photos that they have it on masks, and then they bring out the masks for the dance. So as a regular person, you look at the mask, it just looks like a tribal mask, but the mask actually has this scientific data on it.
And they associated it specifically with Sirius.
Yeah,
right?
with Sirius, yeah. And then also Sirius is also connected to ancient Egypt. They have all the Isis and Osiris and Orion, and then the Queen's Chamber. One of the holes, like links up with Sirius. So there's supposed to be a death tradition where the spirit leaves and flies to Sirius, and so there's all this history there, and it connects. Like it connects with different traditions.
Yeah. So there's this theory, and it's actually a theory that I ascribe to, which is that there really is no wobbling of the Earth. Like, when they talk about precession, they say the Earth is wobbling. But I'm on the camp that believes we may be part of a binary star system because that's the most common thing, right? Most stars, most solar systems are binary star systems, right? Where there's two suns. So we would be an exception if we weren't. So if there was a binary star system, it would explain precession. It explained the so-called wobble, right? And I think the best candidate is probably Sirius in terms of who we're possibly in a binary star system with. Would you agree with that?
I agree with you 100%, actually, because I'm in touch with the writer of this book. I'm going to show it again. This is called The Lost Star. It's by Walter Cruttenden. And he also has a movie out, which everybody should watch. It's called The Great Year. And that's exactly what he shows, that we are in a binary star system, which is what creates precession. And this book explains it, and the movie explains it. But, I mean, so you know me, so I'm in contact with him, and I put him through the grill about it. And one of the things that he told me is that for the last 20 years, he's had a telescope fixed on Sirius, right? Fixed on Sirius with crosshairs. So when you have a high defined eyepiece with the crosshairs, that means it's precise, and you put the star right in the crosshairs. He said it hasn't moved for 20 years. So the model there is like, the easy way to explain it is, if you're in a binary system, you're not going to see movement, because it's like if you put two pieces of tape on a tire wheel, and you're on one side of the tire wheel, and you're moving like one of those I don't know if it's called merry-go-round, but the thing that Susie go rounds or whatever. If you're going around and the other person's opposite of you, you're not moving, but everything else is moving around you. So that's how he's moving.
So if you put the crosshairs on something else, another star, it would move over 30 years? Over
30 years, even 20 years, it'll move a little bit. Not even a degree, because the sun moves 1 degree every 72 years. it progresses, right? Precesses. So yeah, but it would move just a little bit. So you can look at it at any time. There's a certain time that you look at it where it's exactly, right there on his crosshairs. He says for 20 years. You see, yeah.
So why is the scientific community jumped on that? Do you know?
Well, it's the same question I have too. Okay, so we have the Kepler exoplanet telescope, right? That's searching for life, and it's finding all these exoplanets. There's no evidence. There's no document that they observed Sirius. There's no documents that they observed any stars in the Orion's belt. And it's like,
they might be intentionally not putting that data out. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's not out, so I mean,
because they would normally, like, you would think they would check those locations, right?
Yeah, I mean, all the ancient history mentions them. I mean, the Pleiades alone is mentioned in the Bible several times. So there's no document of them observing Pleiades. I mean, so what? I mean, I'm not a scientific genius, but if you give me control of the Kepler telescope, I'm going to the Pleiades, Sirius.
And they're closer too, right? Like, obviously Sirius is what, like the third closest or second closest star system. So you would think they would check that.
Yeah, you would think they would check it. Yeah, and then when you're reading these ancient books, and then if you also know about the Doppler model, whereas if something is coming close, it's blue. If it's moving away, it's red. So through the ancient books that I'm reading, Sirius used to be red. It used to be red, so moving away. Now it's blue, so it's coming closer. So in this book, Lost Star, he talks about so when the binary stars are coming together, and we're moving through the ages, this is like an ascendant age. So it's like a high, like you start to vibrate higher because the two energies are coming together. So that's the theory.
Like elliptical orbit, right?
Yeah.
So, it's not really. Yes, right.
And then it speeds up. Like when in the movie, it shows it. They show it speeding up and then moving and speeding up and moving.
Right.
Which makes sense because some people say precession takes 26,000 years, and then there's other people that are saying it's 24. Then there's also 25,900, and they're saying that the difference is that the closer you come together, the faster, and then you move away and it goes slower. So,
and if you look at relativity, right, what we know about theory of relativity, then that would mean our time is literally speeding up and slowing down.
Yeah. Right? We feel this thing, and we feel like, I mean, time is so fast now.
So we are in an accelerating time then with that?
Yeah, we are in accelerating time. As per this theory, we're in an accelerating time. We're getting out of the Bronze Age and coming into the Golden Age. So that's going to take many years out.
So that's where like the ages come in from, like the the ancient teachings.
Yeah. I mean, based on my astronomy program, I think it's 2464 or something like that. Will be in the Age of Aquarius, but some people are saying it's 2150. But I did it.
Yeah, and the actual like Age of Aquarius is very scientifically observational. Like, if time is speeding up, then it would be sooner than that, right? Mm-hmm. But basically, the Age of Aquarius just means that the rising constellation during the spring equinox is Aquarius, not Pisces anymore, right?
Right. So
right now, just so those of you watching, so we're in the age of Pisces, and this is because during the spring equinox, you'll see Pisces rising in the sky, and that's what it means. Like, the age is the rising sign at that time. But it's probably like 5 degrees left of Pisces, 6 degrees, something like that. So we're at the end of Pisces, but this stuff moves very slowly, right? So, what do you say? So thousands of years, or no, thousands of years, or hundreds of years?
Let me just if I go off, I'm gonna go. I think the date was 2446 or 64.
Also, so we're talking like maybe about 500 years.
Yeah, which is nothing in the scale of 26,000 years. I mean, it's like But I did it with my astronomy program. I just punched some dates, and I did all the dates for spring equinox every year up until the one date that I punched in, it shows Aquarius, and then I did the year previous, and it shows Pisces, as right. So that
maybe you want to send that to me, and then I'll put that in the comment section along with the book link and that video link. And then
okay, cool.
Check that out. Yeah, because that's very interesting. Because everyone talks about we're in the age of Aquarius, and no, we're not actually. We're in the age of Pisces still, and we will be for quite some time. But if things are speeding up, which I think they are with that acceleration you're talking about, in our years, it could end up happening sooner, right? In terms of our perception of it.
Yeah, I believe so. And plus, you know, it's like you're moving into an age. When we're dealing with astrology, when you're moving into a sign, it's actually, you know, you can feel it coming.
Right. Right. Like when people are close to the cusp, like I always say, if you're within 3 degrees of another sign, you're going to feel that sign in your personality. Yeah. So that would be the exact same thing for the age. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. That's my take on it as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So for those of you who think we're in the age of Aquarius, you ain't seen nothing yet, because technology, community stuff, all that's going to be definitely advanced.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess we'll leave it at that for today. But yeah, Isaac, let's definitely have you back on, maybe once a month or something like that, and we'll just keep talking about this stuff. In closing, do you want to give your link to your website? And you do offer readings too, right, through your Sidereal astrology practice?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Well, the website's straight typing, truesiderealastrology.com, and I offer readings. You know, I do the natal, the transits and progressed, and true moon forecast, which I think is really important. And I do offer a free 15-minute, you know, demonstration in case we have some skeptical people. I'll give up 15 minutes and
or
share.
If you wanna, or if you just want to get just a quick take in terms of how you interpret the charts, right?
Yeah, you know, sun, moon, ascendant, and I'll show you. Here's the sun, here's the moon, here's the rising on the astronomy program. Match it with the astrology, and you know, I donate that time to kind of just move this cause along. Yeah.
All right, yeah. So if you guys are interested in that 15-minute free reading, I mean, can't beat that.
Yeah.
Link below for that also. Yeah. Anything else in closing, Isaac? It was great having you on.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I really do thank you a lot for your work, because I mean, I don't know if I would have been doing my work if you weren't doing your work, because you made it manageable for me, and I really appreciate you being my teacher. So yeah.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, and this is what we need too, is more sidereal astrologers out there. You know, I think it's going to catch on like wildfire. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, you know, people hold on to the old, and there's a lot of career astrologers that don't have this this information. So,
and most people just don't know. They just don't know, you know, because I found out too by looking at the phone using the planetarium to look, and I was like, wait a minute, they said it was in Taurus. It's actually in Aries, the full moon or whatever. Mm-hmm. So people just don't know because they're not actually verifying it with the sky. But with technology and stuff, and people like you, like sidereal astrologers spreading the word, I mean, yeah, it is already catching on like wildfire. It's just increasing, right? And there's so many people that just don't know about it. So, all right. So we'll leave it at that. Isaac, thanks again.
All right.
Yeah, we'll talk again soon.
We'll talk. All right. Thanks.